Are live here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman after a great night, late night last night. The echo chamber enhanced the flow with the block party and keeps Stevie's head and spinning like dark Bacardi. The BAC is 2.3, now the liver's damaged, but his lungs are joint free. So inhale, exhale, breathe, and get well. Kick some live shit, stop chirping like Nextel infidels. And it's all the chirping you can hear from the birds out here with the news and rumors on your Friday locker room with Big Stevie Cool and Hacker Hamin at hackerhamin.podbean.com. YOLO! Ha 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 ha! Ha! Yeah, man. Got the Burn Dairy mug filled with Utica Wake Up coffee. Got to get some more Dippin' Donuts. I'm going to have a nice little double date with Triple D tonight and wife number 141 of myself and his new lady. So look forward to some sushi later tonight after the midweek break. Stevie, how you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm doing great. We're coming off a really strong show. Some people say top 3 or top 5 of all the shows we've done in the past 2+ years. I think, man, how much I wouldn't say luck, but how much more momentum can you expect for a show to go that fast and have 2 high-level guests, like from the beginning, and then boom, we got to go. He's right there. And then the first guest, Ken Gage, stays in the chat room and interacts. So it was just boom, 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 boom. And then it turned into the fact that the Google engineer that exposed 900+ page document and put a laptop into the Department of Justice's hands started interviewing us about the wrestling business. And actually on the look on his face was, maybe I should call them and say, you guys aren't all that bad. Can I come back?
Hey, man, I promise I won't say anything else. Oh, okay. And they'd be like, no, you're not coming back. He's like, you got to hear how it is out there. He tells them and they welcome him back. All right. Yeah, man, it was awesome. Zach Voorhees was great, at Perpetual Maniac, and obviously at King Gage _ for great. And we didn't even get into hip hop that much, man. I mean, this guy's a blessed MC. He kind of does secular music, Christian hip hop. But when I was listening to his tracks, there was no forcing it on there. It was just the morality of Christianity, of being a good human, combined with, as he said it, Wu-Tang sharp lyrics. And when you say that to me, you better come correct with it when I heard. But, dude, he's got that boom bap 1997, Hot 97 mentality and great lyricism. But he came ready last night, man. It wasn't just some the black guy brought in to talk Dave Chappelle to be, about it. We connected on the internet, same way we do with a lot of our truth seekers and people who do research for us. And man, he was ready to go. Some really great high level conversation. I look forward to having him back on the show.
He's definitely a guy that should have his own brand and his own platform to talk about just strictly this kind of stuff, or maybe breaking down the hidden messages and Satanism and stuff like that in music. He would have a whole different.
That's what Voorhees wanted that in WWE last night too. So we got a full game on that, man.
Well, with Ken Gage too, it's just interesting because when you do an interview, and I've learned this now doing the one-on-ones, especially in person, I've done a couple of them, it's really tough, and it's always a little rough in the beginning, and it takes practice on both ends to smooth that out with time. He was kind of feeling us out. We were feeling him out to see, you got to get rid of all your preconceived notions. Don't judge a book by its cover or by what it presents on social media. And he might have thought that it's just 4 wrestlers that are just going to goof, or they may just be doing it as a lark, because most conspiracy shows kind of have, like, they follow the Rogan thing where they kind of like shit on it. Yeah. And we let him talk, and he was like, I just saw his facial expression change into like nodding, smiling, saying, yeah. And then we were realizing that we were all on the same page, or at least discussing the subject. Zach too. Zach thought, but then Zach opened up a little bit. Then it became like full-blown Mark.
Yeah. Once you can really get the emotion out of people and get that to that human connection is after the feeling out process of he knows he's coming on with wrestlers. He doesn't know how well aware we are. Does he have to school us? But once, we are going to be kind guests and let him say his piece, but we interact with the higher level questions, then he says, okay, I know where we are. And now we can talk on a certain level of where this is. And also, they don't know our audience, who are also very educated on all these topics that we are, or they have an open mind to be educated. And sometimes because of the Horseman chat, we can blow by stuff because we've already discussed it and we don't realize that we didn't preface it for our audience. So I was glad GGP last night kind of had Zach retell his story, the Project Veritas stuff. And if you haven't watched that, definitely watch that. I think we got a even better interview because Project Veritas isn't trying to pop Zach. They're just trying to get information, where we're trying to do the entertainment along with it. And just, you can let your hair down here and be cool, man. No one's going to hold your feet to the fire on things except for just more in-depth questions. So I think after we get to that point, that crossover, you could see it with both of them. The shows, that's why it really hits. It's just like they could exhale and be like, all right, I'm amongst people who want to hear what I have to say, and kind of got my back on all this stuff.
And we really need to give credit to both of these guys, because in this day and age especially, to put yourself out there, and they probably already got like their hands slapped, or they probably got shit on or made fun of, or the passive aggressive. So what you're trying to say is, or trying to be like interviewed into a corner to not have a discussion. I think we really need to give credit to everybody that really comes on our show in this day and age of where they could be shunned and made fun of and marginalized even further, yet they still take the chance and put themselves out there. And this is actually one of the few times where it worked out. So I'm telling everybody out there that's listening, watching, reach out to guys like Dan Aykroyd, other people. Every little bit helps to give us some credibility to say, oh, well, these two guys were on and these guys were pretty open to it, and I'm just going to get to talk rather than debate.
Absolutely. There's no gotcha or shooting down arguments. There's plenty there where he was even talking about King Gage was, where I had to, put a flag up because he's like, they can regenerate a human body, not baby size, full size human body to transfer consciousness and cloning within 6 to 7 months, and taking it back to eugenics, Nazi eugenics and all this type of stuff, which, can all be looked up. Nothing he was saying was too salacious, but I hadn't heard the 6 or 7 months, and I needed him to clarify some of that. And he went right back to it instead of just, let's gloss over it to get to the win in my argument. That's not what we do here. So, and great job by everybody in the chat room at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. I see you guys this morning as well. Justin French back at it. Ex-Butcher's Strangers Alley. I don't know if I've seen that name before, but welcome. Voices of Misery, obviously our great sponsor this month, along with Rat Salad Review. We appreciate all their support, and they're been in the house in so many shows and great interactors in the Hamin Media Discussion Group. It's just going great. Heisenberg SC, haven't seen that name before down there. Hope the meth cooking's going well for you. And Jay Hallenpots, good morning to everybody joining us out there. And if you didn't join us live today on the Ultra Kayfabe version, you're probably listening to Hacker Hamin on your iTunes, which we're getting actually 51% of our downloads through iTunes, even though I plug hackerhamin.podbean.com, where everything is originally hosted. So wherever you guys want to get it, Spotify, or a Russo brand, you can now get NFO Podcast and the Conspiracy Horseman over there. And who knows what other shows may be showing up there soon. But y'all, that's pretty much before the pain kicks in. Stevie, anything else you want to do to prolong this before we have to get to today's sheets?
No, we might as well do it. I'm not quite on the fumes I normally am, because we have probably one of the strongest Master Shoot theaters too, so that livened me up, and the show last night kept both of us up. We couldn't come. It's like after a match or after something exciting, you want to be able to kind of figure out how you can capture it and continue that momentum. It just like if you have something bad that happens, you can't sleep and try to figure out how to correct it. So
you could feel it. We've talked about this off air about when they push for jokes, which WWE is all the time, but an organic performance where we try and pop each other and we have our setups, but to have guests on, and two guests forces you to be more in the moment, to ask questions and to respond because they're not in on the bits. So the conversation has to be more genuine. And when you can provide that arena, sometimes it might not work out that way at all. You can have all the pieces for success, but the conversation doesn't lend itself to that. And then there's organic times when we had Brian Jack on. Some people say one of the best shows ever, because I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do.
Well, you had an idea, and that did happen.
Yeah. Like, so, but it turned out as gold, right? So you can only have all of the stars there for alignment. Sometimes they will and sometimes they won't. But when they do, that organic feeling can carry you. Like, the momentum is just awesome. Like, creatively, and inspirationally, and awakening for the listeners. I think we've had a couple of those recently, and then be able to have fun on Master Shoot, which also had that feeling of, all right, we have a little premise, but let's not be tied to anything and really try and listen and react in real time. And it came out awesome. So I just love that when great scene works hit and you kind of get on a good flow of that. Hopefully we can ride that wave.
Let's do it.
All right, man. WWE Shop releases dozens of new NXT shirts ahead of the USA debut. With the NXT brand debuting on USA tonight, WWE has apparently been scrambling to make sure everyone under the black and yellow umbrella has an NXT shirt readily accessible for purchase. The official shop has dropped literally dozens of new designs for everyone from established names like Cassius Ohno and Killian Dane to developmental wrestlers featured on the NXT Florida live circuit. And even Evolve star Austin Theory was just announced as part of the last class of signees. He has his first WWE merch. He was Austin Theory, was last class of signees. I don't know. Oh, he's from Evolve. So he's probably had merch or whatever. You can probably just give him an idea. Almost every shirt is $27.99, and almost every single design is black. WWE is currently running a deal. If you buy one shirt at full price, you get a second for $1 on select shirts. So this has kind of been a rib already. I saw the Young Bucks. Somebody tweeted the Young Bucks some shitty designs. No, it was Pro Wrestling Tees, and even Matt Jackson put back FFS, which means for fuck's sake. He goes, "You're fired," legit, because they like just put some clip art on some T-shirts, and then Danny Cage tweeted something about. If your shirts are on Gadlin or Galden,
Gildan, Gildan, that shirt maker, right?
Yeah, I think that's maybe he was taking a shot at them too. I don't know. I see where Danny
These
Cage
are all text heavy. There's no design, and I'm like, I got it up on the Twitch thing. I got the screen capture. They're all very like the Undisputed Gold shirt looks like a basketball, like a thing going to the basketball net. Profits are up, street profit. I mean, sure, definitely. You're like that
Adam Cole like, bait shirt took about 4 minutes,
and it looks like they took the font from the San Francisco Giants and just put a P instead of an F. Dude, I'm not saying that like I've done better in Affinity Designer, just trying to fuck around with like Didn't I made the Breaking Sal shirt with basically Affinity Photo. All these are just. Let's just put a bunch of different fonts. Like Forgotten Son's okay, but you're not pushing them. Johnny Gargano Rebel Woman's authentic shirt. It has a heart with the eye thing. And it just says Rebel. I didn't even know that was part of his gimmick.
That's the one eye closed.
Tyler Breeze, Don't Touch Me. I don't even know what. I mean, but they paid extra for they got print on the back with his name, so they're probably going to take that out of his paycheck. Velveteen Dream is one of those huge bulletproof type decal thing. I hate those shirts, man. That's why I bought the 32 Degrees, by the way, be a sponsor. Like $5 a piece, and they're soft as can be.
I used to have an affinity for terrible shirts. The worst one I ever got was because my brother's like, holy shit, look how terrible that is. They just did a Booker T with like this terrible like chain jinky font, and it said, "Tell me you didn't just say that."
Jesus.
It was so bad, dude. And these are equally as bad. I also had the Pay Laden Made Evolution shirt. My grandmother goes, "Pay Laden Made. Oh, that's a nice shirt."
Who's Vanessa Bourne? Like these girls, I don't know who. Tegan Fox, Angel Garza. I'm not being mean. Shane Thorne, Boa.
Dude, it's like
Zai Lee. Is that the phone company that got banned in the U.S.? Or is that Sean Lee? Brendan Vink,
Huawei,
Joaquin Wild, Lena Gonzalez, Parker and Martel. Those guys just like debuted like 3 weeks ago, right?
Dude, I don't even have an idea who these people are, let alone for them to have a shirt.
Dexter Loomis. Is that Sam Shaw?
This sounds like you're just naming people I went to high school with who I haven't seen in 30 years.
The outliers, the Forgotten Sons. It's like I don't know. I know Dijak, but then they fucked him up with Dominic Dijakovic instead of Donovan Dijak. Like, why not just? They did the reverse when you get immigrated in the United States in the 20s. They lengthened his name instead of shortened. I think Madden, Rick
I think
Bouchis.
it made just I might do just a text shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/bin. I mean, that just says "fuck your NXT" shirt.
Dude, it's like I'm talking about. There's got to be 100 different shirts. I don't even know what. And then they got the old ones like I don't know. The old ones are actually decent. Like they at least got different colors.
For people who've never had a match on TV.
Now I'm going to say this right now. This is at least the formula is good, because the formula, like when I was in WWE and even in TNA, was like you should use everybody on the roster and market them to the maximum. Everybody should have a shirt. Everybody should have an action figure. Everybody should have some marketable piece that they can wear on TV, and you got to give them something that can help them feel like they're over. And merchandise always will make the talent appear like the company's investing something in them. This is a little bit overkill. I mean, I don't see the NXT slow cooker anywhere.
Yeah, well, they may have sold out. It was such a red hot item that they got rid of it. The chat room's putting over, there's no character, there's no nothing in these shirts like our shirts have. And, Justin Friend says, just do a shirt that says Ben's shirt on there. That's it. I think that like Oney Lorcan should do something like that where they, just puts it out. But this is obviously people bitching for no reason. I got to kind of disagree with you, Stevie. Maybe not disagree, but I'll put this out there. I don't think any of them should have shirts. Why? Because it's going to hate breed this. But what's the real purpose here is to get over the NXT brand versus AEW. And all these guys who suck, who no one knows about, that you have to get behind, and they're going to, print 150 shirts to take to shows for these kids who will never sell one of them. They're going to get stuck with them, unless they're doing print to order strictly off WWEshop.com. But, what they should all have is 5 different NXT style shirts, for 2 for heels, bright colored ones, and 1 for girls. And all those students, because that's what they are at NXT. They're not seasoned performers, except for like a Ciampa or someone who gets signed, or, a Gargano, but like anybody that they pick out of a class 99% of the time isn't ready. And be wearing those shirts to hype the brand versus AEW, not the individual performer who's not going to get over because there's no time, writing, or investment in them. Right now, it's about WWE versus AEW, so I would have hyped the brand. I think they made a big mistake here.
Got a good point. And actually, Jargo says something, and I noticed this now. Ciampa doesn't have a shirt, but he has a Pro Wrestling Tees store.
He's smart enough, coming off of ROH and the money he was making. I wouldn't doubt if he held their feet to the fire and said, I want to keep it, to be outside of it.
He's a smart guy, because he will be lost in the shuffle. By the way, isn't Shane Strickland, they called him the Swerve or something in MLW or whatever?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Swerve Scott, like, how the fuck does that sound better than Shane Strickland? What is the problem here, man?
Because Shane Strickland sounds like a basketball player, so they're like a basketball player. Isaiah Scott, they're like, you know what I mean? That's quick.
Isaiah Thomas is one of the most famous basketball players in history.
That's where they took Isaiah from.
Oh, they wanted to make him a basketball player. They
just heard Shane Strickland, Strickland size of basketball. Well, we can't use that name, but we'll keep Swerve. I like that. That's a rib on Russo. And then we'll give him another basketball name. Who's a good basketball player? Isaiah Jordan. That's who he's going to be. No, we already got Jason Jordan. Isaiah Scottie Pippen. Isaiah Scott. There he is.
Yeah, well, Falconator 00 is wrong, because they can copyright his name. Well, they need to be ubiquitous or uniform across, because Ciampa kept his name. Roddy Strong kept his name. Adam Cole kept his name. Bobby Fish kept his name. Kevin Owens changed, but still, it's a better gimmick for him, actually. But then he was Kevin Steen in the Pro Wrestling Tees store. There's all these different times where these guys and girls keep the right. Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, they're all keeping their names too. So unless they give up their names, and these other people wouldn't give up their names, so they had to switch them over. I don't think Ciampa would. But
no, I don't think. I mean, how could you? He's way too over, and he knows it. But that's because he came through OVW, and he knows how to take care of business because he got fucked over for 10 years before it was his time to really ride.
But I mean, if it were today, I would say, yeah, because you got AEW, you got, to extent, Impact now is getting a little bit of momentum. But we're talking about when he signed and when Kevin Owens signed, there was really no leverage. It was really on whatever. You just had to take the chance on getting a ton of heat for even standing up for yourself.
Right.
So that's the pain point. What are you willing to pay? I mean, Matt Riddle has a ton of heat for getting over.
Absolutely. And that crowd is ridiculous. As I had to turn off NXT last night. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the crowd. They're pissing me off so much. They're not AEW. They want to be an AEW version. And after I worked for 2CW and see the real version of it in the Northeast, which is really a mockery even to itself of the ECW version that I was a part of in the crowd, to see these Florida marks just putting shit over and trying to hijack the show constantly to show that they're smart. They're the worst. They are the worst crowd in wrestling.
Yeah. Check your chat when you get a chance, just off topic. But, yeah, I mean, I hope they give these kids a piece of that. I hope they are going to get some royalties. I hope the money's going to be better now that they're on USA 2 hours a week. It really should get better, but who knows? They might stick them with the same and say, hey, we paid you $50,000 or however much money every year, and we lost that money. Now we need to get it back. So that's their excuse for not, kind of bumping them up or doing something to make them more profitable. Because they're going to be putting their body on the line on a weekly basis, especially that women's match on the opening where they essentially tried to kill themselves, and the false positive of the crowd being super hot, trying to get themselves over in a way. Did you feel that? Like they're popping for every single thing to say, we're on USA.
You know how bad that's going to be for these girls who are training, who already had an attitude issue. I've heard about it. I've heard that locker rooms, had to be corrected a couple times, kind of since even when the Iconics got pulled up. I remember when there was issue with them. When they got their gimmicks done and they came back, there was issue that got back then. And I don't think it's been corrected since. Now you're going to put them on TV as they're rotten and have these smart mark tape trader masturbators putting them over doing dog shit. They're going to go back strutting through the curtain. And this is one of the stories right here. Here's the problem. Where is it? Oh, that's not the one. Shit. Botch it. Triple H, after the show, is out in the crowd, celebrating with the marks, jumping up and down. Pretty much. Where is this story? Didn't even bring it up because I was so like, what the fuck? I guess I might have misclicked. But he's out there reaping the rewards of it's my genius. And just to hype them up, when would Triple H have put over marks like that for real? That they can't see it, that they're actually like the unspoken NXT on the roster. They're really fanning that, and they're going to get a bad false positive. But so is AEW with putting people out there who aren't going to be TV ready in front of a crowd that will put over anything just because they want to F you and be a loyal fan base, which ECW fans did that, but at least the flavor was different a little bit. So the fans seem manufactured is my point.
He opened the show and essentially closed the show and made sure that went up on WWE.com as a bonus. He opened the show. The first thing you see on there is someone who doesn't work. I mean, the first thing I would show would be that Ciampa video, the comeback video.
Yep.
But why have him?
We talked about this a little bit with Cody booking himself versus, was it Guerrero? In the match, because people think back to that very first WCW match and who was in it when the show kicked off, and Cody put himself in that match. He's a worker and part of, obviously, EVP of the company, but Triple H just did that and what payoff is there except for this wouldn't happen without me being over?
Pretty much. I mean, isn't that the thing? Isn't that the model he's trying to avoid with NXT is exactly, you know, with just bringing the legends back to overshadow the youth who look more like a star throughout that hour or 2 hours. The guy who opened up the show, who you recognized instantly, or these people throughout the 2 hours who you have to get to know them. And how did you get to know the girls in a 4-way where they killed each other? How did you get to know who's who?
But I will say this: new Kushida, awesome promo. I was pumped. I was like, they're not going to let Nakamura talk. Give this guy the mic, baby.
By the way, too, is that Japanese girl? Is that the one that's supposed to be a heel now? The one that came out for the 4-way?
I missed that. I think I was too.
She's wearing all black, but
that's her.
Everybody that came out. See, this is the problem too, and it's happened to me with Barely Legal on the first pay-per-view. Certain ECW things like on Raw or whatever. You get caught up with the moment and feel like it's bigger than what it is you have to act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
And when they came out, even though
the problem, they haven't been there before.
But when they come out with their entrance, it's essentially the first time you see them, but they have so much extra energy. That's why I asked if that girl was a heel, because she came out like a babyface, fired up on her entrance. She didn't take her time to do whatever or do her gimmick. She was like, we're on USA, and kind of like excited about it. No, that's the...
She could have come out and done that and done the Fonz hand. Not too cool for school, but dude, they're trying to get the basics and basics. And now, why would you put somebody on that? Because they can pull time in a match, but you turn them heel, whatever, 3 weeks before, a month ago, you know, and in that 5 weeks, you couldn't teach them the heel entrance, or she doesn't know enough about her own character that she wouldn't be working on something for a TV debut. I mean, you can put it together in an afternoon.
I don't know, man. I've been there, and there's some long days there. I don't know what they're doing. I do not know what they're doing.
Remarking on the debut show, Game says, I just stood in front of the talent and said, hard to follow up what they just accomplished without saying anything that doesn't sound trite other than to say how proud I am of all of this, said Triple H. It's taken a long time to get here. It was a starting line, not a finish line. We went out there tonight and on the #1 network on cable TV, USA, amazing partners for years, and what I feel was an epic hour of programming on USA. #1 trending in USA the entire time, #1 in the world the entire time, and #4 in the world the entire time. I guess, well, that's weird. Tonight, to say more than that, other than I thought it was a hell of a night and thought it was an epic performance on everybody's part.
All right. I'm checking to see the numbers of the #1 cable network. I want to see, and this is as of April 2019 because it's the most recent one I could find. So this is ad week, and let's see what the #1 cable rating. Fox News was the most watched basic cable network for the month of April, winning with 1.35 million viewers. Primetime 2.4 million viewers. Is USA really #1? They're not offering many first-run things outside of wrestling anyway.
I've heard that chant a lot when I enter that USA is #1, so I don't know if I'm the guy to ask on that.
I'm looking right here. Unfortunately, it's Fox. Everywhere I look, it's Fox or Fox News. And Fox does offer, what's that? You want me to bring that up?
If you want. Really. I can send it to you in the chat.
Send me in the chat.
Okay.
I thought you were being metaphor. I thought that was a metaphor that he went into the crowd and did that.
No. There's no metaphor.
All right. Well, I don't know. You're gonna have to say he literally was celebrating with the crowd. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Shit. Let's see here. Bring up Facebook.
We're over. I mean me.
We did it. We did it, you guys. Let's all go to Chili's.
Do you think the adrenochrome kicked in and he just went a little nutty? He had a burst of energy?
Yeah, dude. backstage like clapping it up. Yeah, we fucking did it. Because think about, like, you know, we rib game too, but he's one of us at the end of the day, and how much he's been through in his life to stab and whatever. Think about how many times he's had his legs kicked out the last 2 years where he wasn't like allowed to get his guys over, from a Lars Sullivan to a Viking Experience to a whatever, you know. And now here's his thing, hands off, and he gets to pull it off. I imagine as a performance artist, a director, and whatnot, you could go a little crazy of that. Like, finally, I got my little thing to where I wanted it to be.
Do you think, I'm going to play it here hopefully without the sound. Do you think that Vince is still going to step in on this? There we go.
Well, I got the next story I'll follow up with.
Here he comes. They got a brand new, like, widescreen Titantron. They tore a piece off the WrestleMania one. Now, this is Full Sail, right?
Yeah.
So they basically expanded the seating in the arena. It looks like they built the arena out or something, right? Because it used to be, it was a lot more people there last night.
I think so, yeah.
Well, here's my question from a business standpoint. Are they just filling up the seats? Is it all free so they can fill it up? Are these paid? Yeah, it looks like it's more people than the usual, like, 300 people that are here. I'm just wondering as I'm watching this.
Or right where there. See where the camera's cut? If it comes to that left side, that left ring post could stop right there, and they just stacked them all.
Yeah, it looks like the bleachers are actually higher, and it just looks more like an arena than a small TV studio type thing. Now, like I said, are you gonna have to market and promote to sell tickets to this live show every week, or are they just gonna do like TNA did with Universal and like ferry people in, try to usher them in off of certain places? Are they gonna have to bus people in? I'm not saying they're not gonna be successful, but they need this to be full for a weekly television show, and going weekly live 2 hours when someone can sit at home and watch it for free. And you already live in Orlando. I don't know. It's tricky. Unless the tickets are so affordable, offer season tickets.
That I've seen that try to work. First, maybe some of the super smart marks down there. Well, OVW did like a $300 season package that got you into everything. You saved like, I don't know, $150 at the end. But that is so tough. Of like, if you're going to USA, does getting $10 from all those people or $5 really going to make or break it at the end of the day of what needs to be accomplished as a money generator? It's already a $20 million to $40 million a year loss. So are you really making it back by charging those people and possibly them not coming because they don't have the money to do it every week after things pop off? So it'll be...
People are starting to leave. They're showing the people leaving. Yeah, people are starting to file. He's like, oh, they're leaving. I got to get back. I'm not that over. There he goes.
Oh, man.
I wish I knew this guy when I worked with him, whoever this is.
Yeah,
this friendly.
Well, he had to be broken too, right? He had to be broken down and have it to be humbled, even get in the family and then have your shit taken away. Even harder. So it's game on. But Vince McMahon, yeah, I was thrilled with WWE's NXT 2-hour broadcast, pal, is the headline. Following the WWE NXT last night.
Can't wait to write for it.
Triple H conducted a media call where he revealed, so he was even doing calls, where he revealed that Vince McMahon had texted him after the broadcast was over. Triple H claimed that the WWE chairman was thrilled with the show, stating, Vince McMahon sent me a massive congratulations after it was over and was thrilled with the product. Triple H noted that Vince had been texting him all day, including him giving him hourly messages ahead of the live broadcast, and was said to be very impressed with the talent, who he believes knocked it out of the park. I don't know how he could be super impressed when most people were going, is anybody having problems logging into WWE Network for the second hour of NXT? There was a big blackout fail and network fail of it going on, so maybe they didn't know about it in real time or found out about it afterwards. But no launch is without its or birth is without its pain. So there was some issue with connectivity. Not for me because I steal everything. So it was easy to go to VIPbox.nu and watch the whole show there. After we got off of the Horseman, I missed the first hour. Probably won't go back and watch.
Very nice. Has anybody ever reached out to you, like, say, you can't do that, man? Don't you love the business? You give the links for free. The boys are going to be mad at you.
Who's going to step to me and say that? I'll gladly have a discussion about media ownership and the amount that they raise the cost to, and how this is just payback for 20 years of being screwed over by mass media. So, and if you are smart enough to own a computer and use it, then no one should be able to tell you where you can and can't go.
I love it.
If I'm the guy, if they got heat with me, I'm the one screwing the boys over. if everybody in the industry and they target me, I believe me because I've had it like come this way, but like, there's no way. And
after you get, if it's NXT guys, let us know how big your T-shirt royalty is, and then come back to us if it's if they're taking care of you, and also. Yeah, you're right. There's bigger fish to fry. Like, I would love for everybody who's a wrestler or not a wrestler to look up what is it, 19 items to determine if you're an independent contractor or an employee, and then like you said, come back to you.
Yeah, feel free. With the high-handed morality of sticking.
You don't want to be on David Starr's radar.
Hey, how dare you F over this corporation that's fucked you over since you were born? Sorry. WWE releases tons of T-shirts. That painful. 9/16 Raw viewership up despite stiff NFL competition. September 16 edition of Raw was watched by an average of 2.27 million viewers, up 6.7 from the week before, but still clearly feeling the pain up against the NFL for the second straight week. All 3 hours were up week over week with significant growth in the third hour, although Raw is still struggling to maintain viewers over the 3-hour show as they lost roughly 14% from start to finish. Raw took 5th and 7th cable spots on adults 18 to 49 for Monday night, losing the 4th spot to TLC's 90-Day Fiancé spinoff. Monday Night Football came in first for the night with 11.8 million viewers, followed by Monday Night Kickoff and the midnight edition of SportsCenter, all on ESPN. So, holding steady, but again, we're just circling the drain. It's not like the tub is full.
It's going to be an interesting season of Monday Night Football to compete with Raw. And then, dude, I can't believe Friday night. I mean, how are we going to... We still haven't talked to Russo about how we're going to work.
I have to do the whole Hamin media schedule, redo the whole schedule, too. That's probably my day in tomorrow, is to, think about it.
It's coming up fast.
Yeah, real fast. And I didn't get it done last week. And then we got a lot of guys wondering on our staff, so... I got to figure out something.
And I'm not necessarily wrestling a whole lot, but there are times where it'll be a Friday night, and I start early Saturday mornings. I have to make an hour and a half drive up to the mountains to do the business that we do on the weekends. So I don't know. I mean, it's fine, but what would be the time? Tuesday night recording right after 2 shows is like, okay, that's everything's still fresh, but I mean. Do we do a Raw? Do we do like a Raw review then a SmackDown review? Do we separate the shows for Russo because it might be easier to do that?
Maybe, but then bless Russo, but I don't know why I'm saying that. Shout out to Russo.
But you're now a believer. You finally fucking come around.
That's
King Gage, I hope you're listening. You did it.
But when it comes to this platform of how are we going to split it up to cover, it almost has to become the locker room Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday is how it has everything has to shift in the timeline to pick up AEW NXT news to get Friday over in that. And it's just got my head spinning a little bit. So, but it's so bad. I hate to sell for it. I got to a twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, new user in there, Heisenberg SC. You're getting a shout out, even though you're trying to participate, and I appreciate that and pissing me off. But if you can't come in here and you think you're a wrestling fan, you don't know who the fuck Stevie Richards is, you can't Google it, and you have to ask dumbass questions. This is high level of the lowest level entertainment discussion with our fans. You're at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. We're pro wrestlers. This is our Friday locker room veteran show, and either participate, don't try and get your shit in. We all know that John Oliver did a show on this kind of stuff, dude. We're multi-decade veterans. We appreciate you joining us, but don't come into the chat room and try and get yourself over, because I'm just going to have to unload on you with both barrels, and I really don't want to do that this morning. So enjoy the show, and as Joey Mercury told me one time in the locker room, never miss a chance to shut the fuck up. Another guy who had some issues in the locker room, Joey Janela, has his wrestling gear stolen. Luke Harper complains about WWE merch. Joey Janela has his wrestling gear stolen. He shared an unfortunate video on social media earlier Wednesday afternoon. In the video, Janela shows that his car had been broken into and revealed that his wrestling gear had been stolen while he was in Philadelphia. While it might be possible to find the people who stole the gear, it seems as if Janela is taking to social media to share the frustration. We were at Janela Baby on, I believe, on his Twitter. You can see where they broke into his car. He does a little video. And, you know, a hot week for Janela in the locker rooms after Big Cass said that Janela stole his shit, and I guess supposedly was chasing him around the locker room to post him, threatening to kill him. And then they calm it down, and he puts Buck against the wall at Buck's Go Home show at WrestlePro. Supposedly Buck knocks him out with a one and done. Cops show up. He's saying he's going to kill people. They take him in as a 5150 and for his own good and safety after he's had other mental issues, and then ends up releasing the big apology that Enzo has to put over. And then Kevin Matthews, Buck's friend, because Buck can't put out a statement because he's WWE, accepts wholeheartedly. Now, these are known to be four of the possible shadiest and most unstable dudes in the wrestling biz who've burned their bridges, but in the fucking front of the community, they all have to buddy and yes, and oh, it's okay after I knocked you out, we stooged it all, and you went crazy, and all this shit to sunshine face so they can hopefully get a job with WWE once again, because that's the only reason they're fucking doing it. It's ridiculous. And awesome to watch.
I still ask the question. Joey Janela has a contract with AEW. A lot of these guys, including Cody, have contracts with AEW, which is a full-time TV wrestling product at this point, right? With pay-per-view. Correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why is AEW letting them even work independent shows?
Why
is Cody working Mexico? Why all these things that could go wrong, especially after the Moxley thing? Like, why are all these things being allowed to still happen for a company, even if the company's young and the company is kind of like still trying to get their name out there? These guys should be on marketing tours and radio tours and promoting and be the face of the thing. They're being paid, as far as we know, like they can make this their full-time job. So, I know you're checking.
Well, it was Sonny Kiss when I was on the.
Oh, he was on the show you were on, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was like, man, I would love to see you do something with Mondo in an indie where you guys do something with the booty pop. And he's like, oh, I love Mondo. I'm like, yeah, me too, man. He's the best man at my wedding and all that. And so we talked for a minute, but he's like, but I only have 2 shows left before I can't work for anybody else. And I was like, wow, I didn't know there was a no compete with that. But that's what it is. It's these guys, maybe their TV money hasn't kicked in, and they're still living paycheck to paycheck like indie guys, and they got to work those fucking dates on the weekend all the way up to the end, even if that means, because they didn't learn from Moxley going to Japan, that you could fucking get hurt 2 weeks before you debut on TV because you're going to fulfill the indie booking. It's a dangerous game, yo. It's a dangerous game.
It really is. So I wonder if they're going to get paid per show, or if they got like the old WCW deal was a guarantee every 2 weeks. I wonder if they're going to guarantee them every 2 weeks, or whatever payroll is going to be, or if it's going to be, well, if you're working, you get paid. If you're not working, and that's going to lead to the politicking and all the other stuff that can creep in.
Yeah. Oh God. I don't know which way they're going to fucking go after that because guys are just going to work TV. Now you're going to have Joey. Hopefully they spend all their fucking rest of their time working on their bodies if they can't compete on the weekends and it's exclusive with with AEW, because a lot of them need help to get TV ready.
Well, that's why I was saying, we talked about that with the other talent too. Why are you still burning out your body and hurting your body or doing any other project besides when people see you? Was it October 4th?
Yeah.
When people see you October 4th, like, holy God, this person's in great shape. Or even a Joey Janela. Like, I've seen some indie stuff with him, but on TV, my God, he's in such great shape. That's, I've been on both ends of that, like gaining all the weight and then losing it and then just trying to stay in shape over the years. And that in itself is something that gets you over to a certain extent. Being almost 48 years old and still looking somewhat like I did on TV, people on in the indies are like, wow, that's pretty hard to do.
There's only a couple of guys who get that too because they came through the system, and that's Cody, Luchasaurus, and probably Omega, who will look the best that they possibly can. They'll keep saying Jericho looks awesome, but I'm not sure how many reps he's putting in right now. But there's a couple guys who get it because they're a product of the system and the work ethic, and then there's the indie darlings who got over because of character, or the smart marks just wanted to put them over as anti-establishment, who don't have that gym work ethic, who don't have the body ready for TV. And week 4 or 5 of TV, things could get interesting with that.
Yeah.
Luke Harper complains about merch. He took to Instagram on Wednesday to share his own frustration with WWE merch, namely the fact that he's never had his own shirt. The frustration stems from the fact that now all the 155 NXT superstars will have their own shirt, despite the fact that he's never gotten one. Still, Harper wished NXT stars luck as they begin their television debut. One thing I want to say, the shirt, so obviously here's some heat. And, dude, Harper's not really the guy to sell for that. That's weird to me. As he rarely takes to social media to do anything personal aside from it's Monday, you know what that means, and like that's it, and playing the game. So for him to sell for that is weird, but maybe this time around he says enough is enough. I'm not sitting in the background. If it takes bitching to get things done, I'm going to bitch to do it because I got kids to feed. And the fact that the way they re-debuted him and he's just a superstar that they're not getting max value out of, I can get it. But then another part of that story, AEW, I saw Hangman Page and put out a tweet, said, instead of bitching about not having a shirt, sit down and learn Illustrator and spend 3 hours like the rest of us did. So that was interesting to me because,
If any of the designers better, don't pay the subscription. Don't listen to Adam Page.
To get your shirt out there of what the grind is. Not that Brody wasn't a grinder in 2CW and champ and knows it, but all these fucking NXT kids are getting a shirt. They never had to design, or most of them didn't have to design their own pro wrestling t-shirt, market it, sell it, get it over. And it takes me back to even when Seth Rollins was like, they don't even know what street team is. Like in FCW, when Rollins and Graves had to go out and fucking take a staple gun to the town and paper the town. But they were superstars on the show at developmental getting paid. Oh, woe is me. There's hundreds of guys who've come through OVW that paper the towns, that they sell the tickets, that get everything there to be the stars, to hopefully get that contract. And there they were bitching about it. Now these NXT stars don't have to paper, don't have to promote. They're all getting a shirt before they've ever TV camera time. It's fucking unbelievable. I imagine to somebody like a Luke Harper, who's suffered through so much, had it promised taken away, kept a humble face, been set on the road to write out his contract, but now that there's heat, they're going to fucking bring him back again, and the frustration has just got to be palpable between not just him, but 100 different superstars.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like him, but maybe everybody has their breaking point. And maybe he finally came back, and maybe he came back and he said, well, God, I'm back in the team. I'm just speculating. But for him, he's been around so long, and he's he knows by selling it or put it on Twitter, it doesn't. Well, I got to take that back. It seems to do everybody else a lot of good. So I don't know if he's just like, might as well give it a shot and see what happens. Right. But it doesn't do anything for his character, which is him as kind of a real person too, as being a big, strong, tough guy. Okay, you know, you big, strong, tough guys don't give a fuck if you. Austin, when of course he cares from a business standpoint. Hey, make me a bunch of shirts because I make money. But when did Austin ever say, by the way, new T-shirt available? No, you just knew because he was wearing the shirt and never put it over.
You know what I would love to see, based off of this, you want to get reality with it, is to get guys over on TV, all these guys who don't know shit, who just got T-shirts. Every week, somebody gets jumped backstage, and they find them in the fucking they're in their T-shirt, and it's ripped. You know what I mean? And then fucking after maybe like 6 of them, you finally catch him beating the shit out of somebody backstage. He rips a T-shirt and just gets in his car and fucking drives away. Every week, no matter where he is, he drives to Florida to fuck up some NXT guy who got a T-shirt, and that's it. That would get him over, I think, huge, and might sell the T-shirts for the NXT guys.
Yeah, I give advice to these guys and girls too, that you would have been better off to use an affinity designer or InDesign or publisher or whatever it is to create your own shirt. From what we've seen on that site, that was some copy paste bullshit, man.
Well, that's a whole new part of the NXT program is graphic design 1 at full sale for wrestlers. Oh shit! Good luck, Joey, finding your gear. I don't think it was too essential to be replaced anyway. Bully Ray explains why it makes sense to make Brock Lesnar WWE champion. Brock made a surprise return to SmackDown Live on Tuesday, issued a challenge to Kofi. Two will be taking on each other for the championship on October 4th when SmackDown moves to Fox. On SiriusXM's Busted Over Radio, Open Radio, Bully Ray explains why he thinks that Brock as WWE champ would make the most sense. He says, Brock makes you want to see Brock lose, and whoever's in the ring with win, or whoever he's in the ring with win. Brock and Seth Rollins, we were invested, and it wasn't necessarily the moves. We were invested in the story, and that's what we're going to get from Brock and Kofi. I don't see that. Maybe I'm the exception to the rule, because so many of the marks are like, not Brock again. We want to see Brock lose. I never feel like that when Brock's got the title. I feel the title's never more credible. I don't care if Brock doesn't lose for 4 fucking years straight. Like, you better find somebody who goes to UFC, wins the UFC championship, and is believably credible if you really want to make me believe in wrestling in a high stakes. With Daniel Cormier is the only one that would really make me believe that. Or you'd have to build a wrestler like Braun in the right way to do that. Because Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, it's cute that those guys get a rub by being in there with a legit killer, but those guys, they couldn't wash Brock's ass, dude. None of them could hang with him in real life. So now we're suspending disbelief that Rollins can go over on Brock as he feeds up for a third curb stomp. That's bullshit to me. I want to see Brock stay champ, and I want to see him murder people.
You have a good crop of UFC guys like Cain Velasquez, which I saw some of his stuff. He's better than some of the boys with that Lucha Libre stuff. Did you see some of the stuff he was doing?
I just saw one high spot.
Very athletic, but Cain also is a killer. Jorge Sandoval, I believe his name is from American Top Team. He's talking about coming to WWE.
Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley's already there. Why don't we
have all these guys like that are
Where's
built?
Lashley been?
I think he may be injured or may have needed a little surgery on something.
To get that surgery, because they weren't doing anything for you. I mean, why not?
Right.
The thing that I've said before, and this is tough because you don't know how it's going to be perceived on a show that could be mixed like this. But if you are getting this many MMA guys in here, remember I said Brock versus Cormier at WrestleMania, and you have an octagon right there, and they're fighting. You know what I mean? Or you have them in the K1 type thing where it is in a wrestling ring, but they are fighting. And you just have it. Like, why not? Why not try to see what you can get out of it. I know it exposes the rest of it, but they've done so much to expose it already. I don't know. But this way, you have that big fight feel come back instead of. I mean, I don't know. I
think you just need to reshape the entire, like we said, flush it. And the based on who you have, they're going to be marks for their past creative and go, well, we got Seth this far. We got to keep him on top and keep him. Seth shouldn't even be in the world title picture. Not big enough, not skilled enough. You need to base it around Brock. You need to bring in Titus O'Neil, Big E, Braun rebuilt, Big Show, Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier. You need to build a super heavyweight division, and that takes a year easily, of guys who are Finn Balor.
They've all put everybody over. That's the problem.
Right.
Lashley, that's why Drew especially
guys, and Titus O'Neil and Apollo could probably in there, Samoa Joe. Now you've got an upper echelon of a dozen guys that you've built to do something with. And even guys who are kind of on the fringe of that with like a Cesaro who could be in there. That's like kind of the gatekeeper cutoff mode. Kofi and those guys, they should not be in the title picture. If you're really going to build it with legitimacy and credibility going forward, you have to forget all of the rated G bullshit you've done for the last 10 years and start over strong.
I agree with that, and I think it should go back to what it was in the 80s where those monsters were going for the world title, and then your workhorses were going for the IC title, the Savages, the Steamboats, that kind of stuff. Then you have the diversity. You have almost two different draws in a way, and if you're running multiple towns, which they used to do, Hogan would be on top in one place, Savage or Honky Tonk or whoever is the IC champ would be on top in the B town or the A town somewhere completely on the other side of the country. That's the way they used to run them down and run them dead. But I don't know. I think the thing with Kofi is they didn't really do too much for him. And when I have a babyface as champion, as tough as it is, because people want to see title changes, they want to see new people, they want to see the excitement of it changing hands. What I think that should happen is Brock wins it because everybody essentially knows Brock's going to win the title. But this would be the time where Big E turns on Kofi to cause him to lose. Because now Kofi that means more to him to get back at Big E or to figure out what's going on in the New Day rather than, because what if he loses and he goes, okay, well, I'm going to go over here and do this and wrestle these guys. No, if you lose the world title on the first fucking TV show, don't you want to get it back? Right. Unless your best friend or brother is the one that caused you. It's the old warrior Macho Man thing. Macho Man came out, hit him in the head with the scepter, caused him to lose the belt to Slaughter. Warrior is mad that happened, so he's got to get back at Savage. Yeah. So he's distracted. He's got a way to get away from that angle or program. Mm-hmm. Do you agree that's the only way? If you're going to do it, if you're going to make a fucking splash and build a story instantly the first night, that would be the one to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And then put Big E under Haman's wing as well a little bit, that he is the one that coerced him. And I could even see that tying in with what I was talking about of like, maybe it's Brock who's had enough of selling. Like, it seems very shooty. That wrestling was fake until now, and I'm not selling for these little 180 pounders anymore. I'm building my own division who I think is worthy of taking on this.
He's like a promoter type thing now. He's got that Conor McGregor type thing.
He's saying, fuck you, Finn Balor. You shouldn't even be in the ring with me. What have you ever done? I will end you, and you know it. And because I was told that, now I'm in charge. This is the new day for me and Haman. And that's where they build the super heavyweight division and ice out Rollins, all those guys. Those guys can't even get a shot anymore. That's the only thing that I can see taking it to a new heights. Otherwise, we're going to get the same old, I hate that Brock's champion. Brock again. Yeah, Brock again, because he'll unscrew your fucking head from your shoulders like a peanut butter jar lid.
Then he's got to take the one off Seth too. They got to unify the titles again and have him. I mean, he's not going to work both shows, but the Universal title the Universal title in its own thing just never. It hasn't caught. There's never been any brand difference with either belt. You're better off bringing back fucking WCW and calling that Nitro on Monday. At least there'd be a different feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many belts, nothing means a goddamn thing with them anyway. So why it has to be based on size and clout, not by the new version with my nameplates on the goddamn side. Otherwise, I mean, they're not gonna. So it's gonna be the same old shit, same old stupid storylines of Kofi and all the same bullshit. So I don't even know why I'm giving them gold. Matt Bloom talks locker room reaction to NXT moving to USA. He says, one of the greatest things about this roster is how well they pay it forward, Bloom said. When you look at the names like Gargano, Ciampa, Killian Dane, Shayna Baszler, they're familiar with live TV and they've been working a lot with other talent. It's made for a more comfortable transition. Oh, well, that's good to know. Locker room reaction to NXT moving forward in USA said started dropping these hints that everybody would have to raise their game in a few weeks. A buzz definitely went through the room, and when the finally told everybody what was going on, everybody was just ecstatic. Hopefully some people were like, does that mean my pay is going up? Instead of just being marks for themselves and going, yay, we're a major brand now like the other guys, except we make 1/4 of the money. So
do you think that anybody actually asked that question?
No. Nope. Behind the scenes, Ciampa might have, but I don't see anybody else taking care of their paper like that who's come through a system and knows that when you're being worked and marked over on the ride home to the condos. I imagine there was a lot of those conversations, though.
Oh, you mean after the meeting, they're all sitting there, they all clap at the end, they all get in the car and go, oh, shit, we got that. Like, you'll never get that 10 minutes back again.
No, they're all clapping, and then they get in the car and they turn like, dude, you think we're going to fucking get pay increase? Like, if we're going to be competing with them, what if we outdraw them? What if we have a bigger, are we going to get paid? And then nobody's like, oh, dude, we got to wait till Ciampa tells us what Game said. Like, the whole trickle down is there. They're texting like, hey, dude, did you find out about the raise? Da, da, da. Meanwhile, they go home, yay, we're all on you. We all got shirts, yay. Like, how many of those meetings have you been?
They did the Oprah. You get a shirt. You get a shirt. You get a shirt.
Instead of, maybe that is because they are, there's pay incentives coming. You guys are going to get a cut of every shirt. No other developmental guys have ever gotten a cut of their shirts. Really? We're going to get a cut of our shirts? Man. WWE issues apology for problems during NXT Network show. With WWE Network simply not working for many fans on any device, many people were forced to miss the second hour of the show, which has led WWE to providing an official apology for the problems. You can also get the tweet apologize ... dive repeat shirt at prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hamin. Quote from WWE: you may have experienced a technical issue with WWE Network earlier this evening. The matter has been resolved and you can now access the network and watch tonight's episode on NXT on demand. We apologize for any inconvenience. As well as that, during the post-show media call, Triple H also spoke on the issue. He says, I heard about it. I don't believe it from my understanding of what I've heard. I don't believe from my understanding of what I've heard. Sorry. I don't believe it was a massive widespread thing. Bad news travels fast, but I don't believe it was as big as it was put out there to be. I think there was a select group of people that couldn't log in. The great thing is once the issue was addressed and fixed, they could log right in. You could go back and watch it on demand and watch everything you wanted to. With the platform comes glitches and issues. They're in the process of figuring it all out, and hopefully it's something that'll never happen again. I thought to myself when I saw it happen in real time after we logged off the Horseman, does AEW have a mole in Connecticut who's pressing some buttons, fucking things up on the NXT debut? I know they have moles already inside WWE, but in Connecticut in production as well.
I don't know, man. That's very odd because WWE has such a great infrastructure.
Yeah. And why it would go off in the middle hour of NXT, like the perfect time on a debut to have login issues that could be fixed like that. I don't know. But he was in the crowd. Dakota Kai's coming back for NXT next week. Her official return. Team Kick will be back in action during next week's show. Team Kick. Dakota Kai and whoever else is on Team Kick. I don't know. Jargo and Bella would know. But, you know, the Jumping Bomb Angels, will they show up there? Who knows?
Yeah, where are they been?
I saw a really great video of Asuka putting together a gaming chair in her apartment that Ray posted.
These people taking my videos away from me on YouTube. No wonder I only got 100 views. Hey, do you like when I asked if I could use Zack Attack as a reference for Google to get my YouTube ranking up?
Might as well. I almost put down Russo as a reference when I applied for the social media manager position the other day on there.
What popped me more than anything about just going back to that show, you guys got to listen or watch it back, is when Papadon instantly started talking about how this guy's life has potentially been fucking threatened because he's giving up information on Google that they basically are swaying presidential elections and almost committing treason. And it's like, yeah, it's like when you get to the building and a wrestling promoter shorts you on your payday. What the fuck, man? I had to. I couldn't. I couldn't even stand it.
I know, man. I know. He's trying to set the scene of the carny world we live in of being lied by upper hand powers, but he just goes into a diatribe about carny worker shit.
Oh, that's why I said you needed the next Project Veritas interview has to be you exposing the promoters who short people on their independent wrestling pay.
Short them. Yeah. God love them. But I love moments like that. No love intended. That come out of the carny wrestling world, where it shows how fucked up we are psychologically to some degree. That's almost in every conversation as a preface, even if it has nothing to do with what's kind of going on.
We're in the bubble, even though we're not in the bubble. We're still in the bubble.
Yep. And moments like that are why the conspiracy horsemen are different, because we're damaged goods on the island of misfit toys, and we invite people who aren't ready with their own problems to come join us, and then they get a dose of it. It's fun shit, man.
Oh God!
Oh, it's going to be a big head-to-head run with AEW versus NXT on the 4th, and the NXT women's title match is what they're going to run head-to-head with them, Stevie.
What's
Fatal
this?
4-way, Shayna Baszler. It's Candice LeRae's huge win when they go against All Elite. It's going to be Casino Battle Royal versus the girls. So the girls are headlining, I guess, to some degree. I don't think they're kicking off the show, but yeah, let's see. Incidentally, that night we'll see AEW crown the inaugural women's champ in the Casino Battle Royal. Nyla Rose set to face Josie Sensation Riho, who defeated Hikaru Shida at All Out. Yeah, so memorable. And Candice LeRae's huge victory in the Fatal 4-Way on Wednesday night. She has announced she will go one-on-one with the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. As they go head-to-head. The money is on the girls instead of the people who they really want to see. Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Walter. Nah, get them out there.
Now, is that the NXT UK? Are they going to be infused into the weekly show somehow? Or are they?
Yeah, Walter debuted with his crew this week or last night on there. Imperium, I think they're called.
So how are they going to do NXT UK then? Because don't they have TV tapings for that? A lot of work for these. They better be getting more money. That's a lot of work, especially if you live in England. You got to fly over to Orlando, and you're going back and forth like that.
I think they'll just take him off NXT UK as more valuable to that, and then take him off of it, and then maybe once every 6 weeks he shows up there to fuck somebody up. But here's where the NXT crowd is. They're trying to get Killian Dane or whoever it was back over. I can't remember, Wolf or whatever those guys.
The guy who wrestled Matt Riddle.
Yeah, and putting it over, and then here's the NXT tape trader masturbator crowd. We want Walter, like totally hijacking the show, knowing he's coming because they probably saw him outside when he rolled up to the building and couldn't kayfabe. So they're blowing the fucking spot, going into business for themselves, and they all need a $5 face slap because they're hurting the product to try and compete with the AEW neckbeards. It's stupid to watch.
I agree.
Yep. Mandy Rose shows off a new Golden Goddess MAXIM cover photo for all the tape trader masturbators out there. Mandy noted on Twitter, so extremely happy and honored right now for you guys to look at me and have fantasies about me that you could never have come true. No, she's just excited. This has always been a bucket list for me and a huge goal. I've always wanted to be on the cover of MAXIM, and it finally happened, you guys. Her and Sonya Deville, collectively known as Fire and Desire, have been making some serious waves in the women's tag division as of late. Although they were unsuccessful in capturing the titles from Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross this past Saturday at Clash of Champions. I mean, huge waves. They were so close to beating the world's greatest women's tag team champion of all time, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, who've set a standard for women's tag team wrestling that may never be surpassed or eclipsed. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, a.k.a. Fire and Desire, have been really shaking things up in the wrestling world, and I think this year could be their year to take those women's tag titles.
Is that part of the copy, or is that you saying that?
That's me. Serious.
I was just waiting for you to read through all the copy and see if you can make it.
I finished a while ago. It's ridiculous. Here we are to try and put over technical wrestling with a chick who's nothing more than looks like the sex doll, right? Like, that's her job on the show. Be hot as fuck, be unattainable, instead of, they've made quite a splash in the women's tag division. Oh yes, their matches have just been brilliant stuff that I've taken from. So have you?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not detecting sarcasm that time, so I'm not sure.
Just the copy from people. I'm like, are you watching the shows? Are you watching what we're watching? To like put it over, just put over the Mandy Rose is hot as fuck and she's on MAXIM. That's what people want. And in the final one,
you doing okay?
No, this one's really gotten me because the news is so bad today. Update on Kevin Owens storyline, WWE live event scheduling during the lawsuit storyline. Playing out the storyline where Shane McMahon fired Kevin Owens after failing to help him win King of the Ring semifinal match, and Owens responding with a massive wrongful termination lawsuit, WWE has announced via Shane that the Canadian superstar will in fact work the upcoming international tour with dates in the Philippines, China, and Hawaii. Shane McMahon says, while considering a resolution to this ludicrous lawsuit, I'll allow Kevin Owens to perform on WWE's upcoming tour in the Philippines, China, and Honolulu, Hawaii. So the heat is palpable and real, except for when we need you on these spot shows. And Stevie, I feel bad because this could be one of the worst locker rooms because the news is not that heavy this week. Just a lot of AEW and WWE people who don't seem ready to debut on TV, who are being given a huge spotlight. And some will rise and some will fall in real time right before your eyes. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
Well, in this day and age where you can't offend people and nobody is allowed to do anything except participate, I think everybody will continue to do stuff. I don't know about rise or fall, but we're going to be sitting here another year going, oh, my God. I mean, I don't want Russo to get any older. I value my friendship with him, our friendship, and the time with him. But in some ways, I just look forward to his 60th birthday.
Me too, dude. So much. He set the timer. I was like, all right, I'm with that, dude.
2 years? He's 58.
I could do 2 years and be out and not have to talk any more wrestling shit. I think that's about as much as I got left on me too, man, to cover the sheets from 5 years of covering when I started with WrestleZone to then. It'll be about 6 years. And not to say Hamin Media would end by any means. We'll just transition. Hopefully it'll be a huge platform by then with the plans that I have going forward. And wrestling will be in our purview of we'll have other producers who can do this by that time, or other wrestlers who want to take over who aren't as burnt out as us.
I just want to do my Appalachian Mountains version of like Dirty Jobs TV show on their local public access thing and just make a little bit of money. Do my little radio show. Little 80s love song radio show and just be left alone. Maybe even go back to my real name so nobody can find me.
How'd you like that with MC Gage last night saying he's going to put us on the mixtape, and then you putting it out there as DJ Stevie? You want that, 80s love song loop in the background. We might already have the track ready to go here.
He was like right with it, like everything. Like he wasn't even ribbing. He was like, I was like, On the Wings of Love by Jeffrey Osborne. Oh, I can totally see how that's in. He started, I was like, you motherfuckers, you see?
Stevie was a brilliant hip hop mastermind the whole time, and we never knew it. We slept on you, Stevie. I'm sorry, man.
I have sleeves on today.
MC Hallmark, I think, might be a good rap name for you.
I actually love that. Actually, we'll see about that. I'm just gonna start throwing shit against the wall. I'm gonna start fucking just doing the most ludicrous, because nobody fucking watches my videos anyway. People, I appreciate you if you do, but I'm just going to start fucking doing ridiculous videos where I sit there for an hour and read like Hallmark cards or something, or do a free watch along a Hallmark movie. You never know the stupid shit that gets over today. Not that I'm doing it spitefulness, but I'm just sitting here watching a fucking Hallmark movie. Let me turn the fucking thing on, start the Twitch stream up, see what happens. Like, what the
I think Ryback got about 14,000 views yesterday eating one of those ghost pepper individual chips and driving around in his truck, and went and got a Starbucks to wash it down. That
he did. He had 300 and some people watching it live, which my faith in humanity is that just when I thought he couldn't get any love. Ryback's doing it. Feed Me More. He does the fucking chicken sandwich comparison. He does the I like his whining about Ryback where he reads people that send him complaints. Did you see that? That's the best. And he's just like, yeah, and then he plays.
It's his voice. His voice pops me when he reads it. That
very
that
proper, like inside the actor studio, James Lipton voice. I like when he becomes the like he does the Mark and Mark thing where he wears the glasses, the hat, and the wig. Yeah, he does a real. Oh, guys, I feel like he sounds like that Boogie 298. Guys, I think they just didn't do enough spots, guys.
I think you should come back to Russo brand, even though that's how we got our spot, because him and Buck didn't work out there.
How the fuck would that have turned out, by the way? Shit. Wow, I think Vince realizes, I might have made the right choice, because they were the first choice. We weren't the first choice for Raw SmackDown.
Yeah, no, we weren't, and they had stuff going on, and there was time, and maybe they didn't want to get involved with Russo, but they missed the opportunity, and for us, it turned into absolutely a great blossoming relationship that I couldn't be happier for.
Well, Ryback made the most out of it. He's got his own deal. He talks about wrestling, so he didn't. Maybe Maybe that's another example of what Ryback talked about. That could have been another kind of nail in the coffin of that deal between those two.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say?
Just from the chat room, Buckshot Kids asked me about any news from the WWE tryout that happened in Toronto. I haven't heard of anybody specifically getting signed, but to me, that tryout in Toronto was different than everything else. To me, that tryout in Toronto was a tryout for Battle Arts and Santino Marella to become NXT Canada. There's so many good workers in Canada that they could sign. I'm not even exaggerating. They could sign 15 people tomorrow out of Canada. And I work a lot of indie shows all over, and I'm happy to do and be in the locker rooms I am. But there's a lot of guys who are kids, who are young 20-somethings, who might be in this business, and there's a lot of people who want to play wrestler who are your local backyarders who get into indies. In Canada, the locker rooms I've been in, there's few and far between of guys who make it to that level. It's all like, holy shit, it's either ex-TV guys or up-and-coming pros, journeyman wrestlers who look like men from the 80s and 90s when wrestlers were wrestlers, and not kids trying to play wrestling where it looks like. Somebody sent me something from This Is Progress last week where the ref comes in and stuns all the guys. I don't know if it's a storyline or payback. The ref is the exact same size as the wrestlers. The wrestlers look like junior high to high school kids who went and had professional gear made, and now they get to do an entrance and come to the ring and do high spots, and the ref lays them all out and kills them all. So really, that exactly proves that they're nothing more than young pussies from the mall who can get beat up by the referee because they wanted to do a comedy sell spot and not protect their own business because they don't understand wrestling. So there's in my opinion, there's a big division of people playing wrestler and actually getting booked on these little indie shows they'll never will be wrestlers, in my opinion. They can never hold a candle. Not to say they couldn't do work like an underdog, like Mikey Whipwreck, but they won't do work like an underdog, like Mikey Whipwreck, because they think they're Seth Rollins. They think they're Finn Balor. They think they can beat Brock Lesnar, and they're completely delusional and shouldn't even be in this business on the other side of the railing from where they are. So that's my rant on that. But shout out to everybody in Canada. I look forward to going up there on Sunday, tagging with Congo Kong, beating the shit out of the Dirty Vets, taking back our tag titles after I defend the Northeastern Championship at Immortal Wrestling in Amsterdam. So I'll be in Amsterdam, New York on Saturday night, and then on Sunday afternoon, St. Catharines, Ontario. And I didn't order any ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin because I didn't want to take away from the NXT sales this week, you guys. So if you need to get some of those awesome NXT shirts to keep you warm during the wintertime when you throw them on the fire, they're only $1 a piece for extra ones. So go for it.
It's nice of you to push them, and make sure that they get their T-shirt sales.
I want to.
I have a wrestling show on Saturday, possibly the last one I ever do, hopefully. But, of course, I got more bookings coming up, so it's almost the end of the line, everybody. I'm fine with that. It's becoming, I mean, I'm not, we really have to say a prayer for Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees, because what are they going to do with the hundreds of millions of dollars they have in the bank? Let's hope they come back, because they got kids. But but yeah, man, it's getting tougher and tougher to do these shows. Not so much because, like, when I wrestle, and I'm wrestling Shane, so it's going to be safe. But I'm going to put as much time as I can. I'm going to bump around as much as I can. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to make whatever memories people remember me as, just like I said before. I'm going to make the match resemble what you see on TV, what you've seen over the years, I don't want to be in the T-shirt crowd. No offense to anybody that does it at whatever age, but I don't want to be that guy. That's right. Like, I'm wrestling in something you're not used to seeing me wrestle on with gear-wise. So,
sure.
But it's the days and sometimes the weeks after the show that are the truly painful part of it, trying to recover. So it's not so much I'm injured. I'm probably injured. I've been injured for over a year with my back. And we talked about that at the WrestleMania in New Orleans that weekend. So it's been a year and a half that my back has been fucked up. But it's just a matter of always feeling hurt rather than injured that sucks.
Absolutely.
That's just real. People, even though when people Google us, they don't know how long we've been in the business. It's been a while. So they have to, you have to realize better early than late getting out of this thing. Yeah.
Well, it always seems like there's a couple windows, but we close them on ourselves sometimes. But I with Vince setting that, bro, when I'm 60, I'm done. I was like, ooh, I like that. That's a nice out. 2 years. I feel like I could do that time. Like, we're going to get paroled or something, and move on to the next thing and capitalize off of everything we've all built together here at Hamin Media, at Russo brand, at Stevie Richards Fitness brand, at Realm brand. It's just awesome going forward. And now with Shane under that as well, who knows? Maybe Ryback will come back and we'll be able to help push the synergy of his group forward. So
I'd actually love to have him on a podcast or have him on this show or whatever we can get him on just to talk. It'd be really cool. Yeah,
I'll definitely reach out, man, and see. Or maybe if you want to, might have a little more weight. But
I don't have his number or anything. I tried to tweet him, but he never got back to me.
Okay. As we just push it all forward independently instead of, like we say, worrying about somebody else's blessing, that's the best thing we can possibly do to sell our own T-shirts. At the end of the day, nobody else is giving us anything where we have to clap for it. But we'll clap back because it's the Friday Locker Room Infidels with the veterans. Google me or don't. Project Veritas might have had me scrubbed as well. Not Project Veritas, but Google did anyway. As we ended up here delusional, we don't have to watch anything else this weekend except our own matches, thankfully, here at your Friday Locker Room Infidels. Y'all.